What's going on, guys? Hit pause here with another part to this tutorial. So in this video the main focus is going to be getting an idle animation working. However, there's a couple of things that after looking at this that I may or may not want to address. First off, there is actually kind of like no reason anymore to have these be thicker than the legs. I should be able to thin these out so I can see the legs. The reason this is actually important in this case is because of the fact that this is a bug, like an insect. They tend to have these very thin, appendages, which can, in some cases, really kind of disappear when things are far away, and so anything that I can do to get them to not disappear is going to be helpful. And by that I mean there's a small part of the animation right around here where this leg goes right into the head, I think, right there. So I need to fix that. I can do it fairly generically just by either A, making it so he doesn't look left as much, or B, I can just move the foot away from his head, because I don't actually know how much he turns to the left or to his right versus his left. So I need to fix this first. I'm going to keep it on camera because it does show how, a fresh eye can help you see these things. And I actually, again, I want to attempt to make these bones thinner. So it's just a visual thing. It shouldn't make two shits of a difference. But the thing is that I got to be a little bit careful, because if I copy and paste, I could end up moving something strange. So I think as long as I do it mirrored, I'm okay. But I want to make sure that I don't end up moving any of the joint locations, because they're already set. It's animated. I don't want to fiddle with that. So let's go to this tab here, because we do have, the width and the depth and all that stuff. So like if I take the width to 4 and the depth to 4, it's already thinner, and it's going to mean I can see my animation a little bit better, right? So I can copy that bone setting. I think it appears to be grayed out. Does it, or does it? I think I know why. Because we're in this mode. Okay, so yes, that was it. Copy bone settings. Paste bone settings. Yeah, see, that's what I didn't want to have happen. And I really don't want to do this down the chain, right? I can, and I might as well keep going. But what about if I were to say copy the whole limb and then paste the whole limb? See, it moved it. It moved it. Let me hide the mesh. Oops, the other way around there. So maybe I can copy and paste like this. No, I can't. See, it moves the fucker thing. Sorry for swearing, but that's upsetting, right? That's dumb. So I'll pause. Obviously, I'm not gonna make you guys watch this. Okay, so maybe we can at least paste mirrored. Wait, no, hang on. I did that wrong again. Right, I need the limb. I need to copy the limb settings, and then take that. I gotta get my eyes on this point, and this point, and make sure that this relationship doesn't change when I hit this button. So I'm not gonna be looking at the button. I'm gonna be looking over here. You guys should be looking too. In 3, 2, 1. I think it was okay. Undo, put it back. Yeah, it's fine. So we can do this. At least I can save that time. It makes sense that I can, because it was originally done this way in the first place. So, and all the other bones are okay. I don't really care that these are blocks. But now I should be able to get a better idea. These are still poking through, right? But it's okay, because now I can go back here and hit play, and yeah, it didn't break nothing, and it just feels a little bit better, and I can see this easier now. Okay, so we have the head and we have that on look. So let's go into the auto key here. So he turns his head that much, which is Let me just turn it there. And the Z, negative 26.88. So when he's looking the other way, it's about 30, which is actually more. So is this leg going through? Does it just happen? No, it does. It's right there. So the question is do I want to have the leg react to the head, or do I want to have the head avoid the leg? I kind of want to say that I want to have the leg react to the head. It's actually, well, no, because I don't have any keyframes on this guy, right? Are these at the same distance from the origin? 12.298. That would be here. I should do this if I'm gonna do it. This one seems to be the one that was behaving better, so let's copy this position. It's not going to move much. I don't think that moved out enough to save me here. Right? Oh, he's turning his head more. Right here. This keyframe right here is bad. I'm going to replace that. There. Okay. Oh, look at the mandible. So I gotta fix that. Is it doing that on both sides? It comes real close right there, but does not hit. So I think, can I live with that? Why would I even? Okay, and then I'm assuming that's got to persist. Oh, it just, okay, so here I'll just keyframe it back a little bit. I'll have the head react to the legs. I have to do that because the legs are on this procedural cycle, right? I don't want to mess with that cycle. I'm just looking for any kind of pass-through. And like I said, the reason is it's important is because they're so thin. That any break in their form will, you know, result in the either the, I don't know, it's weird because UE4 has this weird like ghosting shit that I don't understand, and I have motion blur turned off. It's like I'll move something like this and I'll take it away and there's like 30 copies of the ant left behind on my screen. And here's the thing, if I pan the screen, they're there still, they're going with it. It's not like it's a fucking plasma burn on my monitor, but that's what it looks like. It's weird. So I keep losing the legs on all of my like my bugs. They just kind of get lost, and I just end up seeing the body kind of floating around with this just a few anti-aliased shit effects that appear in this area that it almost feels like I'm refracting the background as opposed to actually seeing something there, right? So that's the reason I'm freaking out about it. If anybody wants to know, it's important. Because it's bit me in the ass already. It's done it on the spiders, so I kind of have to redo them or buy that really killer one on the marketplace, just so everybody knows that spider's better than anything I've ever done or will do. So it'd be worth it to get for me. I don't know about you. Alright, I think I'm fairly okay at this point. If I play, this is him looking around. Like I said, I'll export a version where he's not looking around. Where he's just looking straight. That way, you know, you can do something. I may do like a sneak variation. A sneak variation. Basically, it's kind of tough because what it really needs to do is it needs to lower the lift, right? But what we can do, I think, what I can do is I can say copy, and then I can paste a new copy of this and call it sneak. So we can call this cat walk, right? And then, which I like that, and I think it's funny. So I'll copy that and then I'll paste it as a copy, and we should get another one, and we'll call this cat sneak, right? And we'll keep everything else the same, except in this case we'll ignore head look, right? That's all we're going to do. So we could export this right now and this would be just walk head, but I actually want to change this one. This one cannot be ignored, by the way, but this will completely override it. Okay, everything is blended here 100%, which means this is taken over. And this is like a root type of layer. It's kind of hard to explain, but this is a root type of layer, as an absolute, and then so is local and world are. These are not like roots. These are like additive, if that makes sense. So whatever you do with these still maintains the stuff going on here. But this one I think is just going to completely override. Now I'm kind of hoping that's the case. So let's see what happens. We'll pull it open, and what I want to do essentially is lower the foot lift. So we can come here to the foot platform, and we go to lift, and we'll just scale that down. I don't really see any change. Okay, so hang on. There's a solo button. That really... Oh, I think... Yeah, I animated it. Okay, I'm a dildo. Sorry. Undo, 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 undo. Undo, 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 undo. Undo, 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 reset. Uh-oh. Right? That's a crash. Hey, did you guys see that? You guys remember that time that I was doing this stuff and it crashed? Alright, so this is not overriding. What I kind of want to do, here's what I can do. I can move layers up and down. So I can make this one the root one, and I can ignore the other one. Or what I can do is this. This is kind of interesting. Alright, so I'm going to go back to this mode, because this is going to put me in key pose. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an absolute animation layer. Okay? And I'm going to call this T pose. And I'm going to move it up by hitting this arrow. Boom. Okay. Now, what I can do is I can take this one, and I should be able to ignore it. Okay. Is this now blending additively? How do you tell it to blend? Is it going to animate? No, it's not doing anything because this is overriding everything. Okay, so this isn't going to work, so I'm going to have to do it this way. So this is cat sneak, and I think... Oh wait, where's this cat sneak? I guess they're both the same right now. Well, let's figure it out. What's the lift on this one? I hate you can't scroll wheel. Reset. Okay, that was catwalk. Okay, can I undo that, please? No, I can't. It's gonna crash. So I'm gonna go back to the recover file from the crash. Cause, yeah. Oh, shit! Okay, yeah, well here's the thing. Oh, shit. Nah, that's not good. Okay, I can't promise it ain't right about to crash, but I was able to delete that layer. It's not crashed yet. So what I'm actually gonna do, it was something wrong with that having the two. I don't think you're allowed to do it. It just didn't behave right. I mean, that was not just me that saw that happen. So what I'm going to do for sneak is say fu universe, and I'm just going to save it as a new file and adjust it, right? Done, you know. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. Let's get an idle. So given that, I'm still on this weird recover, so hang on. Okay, so I saved it as a new file called idle. It's going to make this a little hopefully safer. Worst case, I still have my original before I thinned out the bones though, which I don't want to do that again. So I should be able to delete this, but before I do that, what I actually want to do is I think create an absolute layer right on top of it. Now here's the way absolute layers work. They will basically capture whatever pose it's in right now and just put that as a animation with no keyframes on it. So it depends on where I got him at the current time is where it's going to you know, start him at. So I kind of want to pick a spot where he's semi-evenish, which is roughly a little bit around here, or maybe right there. But I don't like what's going on with the rear legs right there. So yeah, and there's nothing I can do about that. I'll just get it where his head's straight, somewhere around there, and then I'll hit the absolute layer. Boom. Okay, now you'll see that when I drag, the only animations I have are the adjustments from these others. Okay, so I think if I move that down, I now am completely overriding, because the way this works is it blends upwards. Okay, so this being an absolute, saying, hey, I'm taking control entirely. I'm not adding any local movement, I'm not adding any world movement, and I'm not a base procedural layer that can't be fucked with or I'm gonna crash your shit. This is just a regular ABS layer, right? So we can create an idle from here. So essentially all I really need to do is just kind of zero out. Hell, I could probably just do it like this. Just select them all. Wait. That was instinctual. Hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. That was purely muscle memory. Alright. Just in the Z, please. Okay. Alright, so we just kind of even him out just a little bit, but not too even, because I'm going to isolate this guy, but first let's uncheck show frozen in gray. Now I can do that, and let's do this locally. I'm not in animation mode. I'm just setting down my root pose here. This is going to be the pose that any and all animations need to return to. So it's important that it feel fairly natural, and that whatever animation we're going to come up with here needs to be slightly subdued. If not subdued, then it needs to be have a lot of variation in it. And I'm going to again point to that the marketplace spider. If you guys want to see a good example of an insect done really well, go look there. It's nice. Alright, so for idle, the thing is, if you're doing a true idle for like a like a spider, 900% of the time that thing is literally like this right here that you're seeing on my screen. That's a perfect idle for a spider. It's perfect. It's animating at exactly the correct rate. They don't move at all. They freeze, right? That's what they do. And they only move when they move. When that's not true with tarantulas and stuff like that. But a lot of spiders, when they're stopped, there's not a lot of bobbing up and down. There's not a lot of like, hey guys, I'm constantly ready for something. There's not a lot of this shit happening in the bug world. I mean, this happens, but it's usually like when he's threatened, he's like, meh, and he does it at a certain time kind of thing. But when they're stopped, and in this case, ants, if go ahead and find a picture of an ant or a video of an ant that's just sat there. they'll stop to do something like to grab something or look at something, or when they get blocked they'll stop and they'll be like oh god, but it's only for like a half a second, and then they're trucking in another direction. Ants are like on the move at all times. It's probably not scientifically correct what I just said, but I feel that way. I've never come across an ant that's just been stopped. In fact, ants are, if they were stopped, I think they would be much harder to get rid of. The fact is you can always see an ant because it's always moving. You just see this little black spot go across something, and you're like, shit, there's an ant there. I'm gonna go thumb smash him or put him outside or something, you know? Most of the time we thumb smash him because we're giant dicks. Alright, so let's see. But this is a video game, so I don't want him just sitting there doing nothing at all. So I think I actually want to move this. I think I want to bring the head look back. Okay, so we'll do some of that. Okay. Okay, that's very unnatural now. I gotta fix it. And I think the best way to fix it will be the curvy editor. So we'll find out where all the rotation's happening. I think I have to be on this layer for that to happen. Yes. Okay. So let's see what we can do to help this along its way. Okay, first off, these keyframes and these keyframes should be identical, right? Yes. Okay, so then these keyframes need to be those as well. So what I'll do is I'll hold Shift and then Control at the same time, and I'll just replace those. It gives you a very funny line while I'm still holding, but as soon as I let go and I move, it repairs it. Okay, so now that's identical, and I officially do not need these keyframes. So that should have fixed that oddity. Okay, now the other thing that I want to do is in between the actual movement here, I want to do like one of those old cartoon rules. So let's just give him a little bit of dip halfway in there. Oh, I'm sorry, I had to sneeze and I couldn't get to the pause button. I am using Camtasia again, by the way, because I can pause. I've ditched Shadow Play. I used it all of 2015. I'm not going to do it anymore. How come these are only 5s and then this is so long? I got something. Well, oh no, because these are only moving half the distance, right? So it goes from straight to there. Yeah, no, that's correct. Okay, so I need it about right here. And okay, there's nothing there, so okay, that's better. It's very subtle, but it no longer goes mechanically straight, it dips. Because as soon, right here, there's this theory behind the whole thing of how it all works. I don't know the damn theory, but the way I think of it is it's like you release tension. He's looking somewhere, so he's got tension in his neck. As soon as he decides to move it, the muscles go to move the head, where the tension gets released immediately off of the other stuff. Causes the head to dip a little bit before the brain picks it back up and pulls the head back up. Right there's, you want to know why I did that? There's my fucking weird answer that doesn't make sense, that I made up on the fly. Yes, I did. Alright, so let's see. That's the thing though, I don't know if I really want a whole bunch of movement in here. And like I said, there's a really good example on the marketplace, but I don't want to just go there and look at it and be like, oh, okay, I'm going to do that too. That's dick move. So I got to come up with something on my own. I do remember what I saw, but I'm not doing anything like that. Like I put in a whole bunch of different idles for all kinds of different situations. I need to get this thing out and going. So I need one idle that works, that when he's stopped, it doesn't look weird. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move him down just a little bit so he's a little bit more at rest. He's already looking around. I think what I want to do here, I think I want to, yeah, because you know what, there's some animation in here that I like in the walk details, and that's the antenna. So I'd like to pull that through. This animation layer, by the way, needs to be called idle. Okay, so we know where that is, and I'm actually going to move it up another notch, which is going to cause the head to start bobbing, okay, and the tail to start going, and we need to stop that, and we can. The way to do that is like so. We're going to add another absolute layer, okay, and we're going to call this detail blocking, okay, because we're going to block out part of the other one. And if you see here, hang on, where is it? This one's got to be in front of that. Okay, so we've wiped out all the details, right? Detail blocking. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take the whole thing, hit control page down, just to, oh shit, I think we can, maybe I can do it from here. But what we're going to do is we're going to mess with this stuff here, local weight. Okay, so without any keyframing, I'm going to say no local weight on that. So what happened is it's entirely back now because I used the hub, so it does it to everything in its child. So now what I can do is I can select this guy and I can bring that back to 100. Okay, well, let me see. Yeah, it is working. I'll bring that back to 100. I think the head got set back to 100, so I need to set the head to 0 individually. I think I remember how this works, and then this can go back up to 100. You have to tell each, because I think what it wanted to do was take it from here, put it back up, and then I can take this back to 0. Or no, that should be 100. That should be 0. Why is that going back? Is it because it's the hub? Do I need to do global weight? Because let's see, what is that doing? Okay. From the head up, the local weight should be 0. But that's giving me, maybe I got to do a world, or maybe it's not local weight, maybe it's global weight. Oh, yeah, it's okay that I'm not animating. I thought maybe that was it. So that should be 100, but that's taking away the head too. That's doing everything. So let's try. It should be allowing me to do it per bone. I know that. Let's try a local weight of 0. And is that 0 now? Okay, well, if that goes to 10, does that go to 10 now? Okay, so, what? Maybe it's because it's an absolute layer I can't do this. Let's touch it. Let's add a new one. I haven't done this in a while. We'll try this world one. Okay. Adjustment world. But see, the thing is it's in front of walk details now, and it's not knocking any of it out. That absolute layer is what I need. I need to be able to weight it per bone. I can't remember why it's not letting me do that. So let me look that up real quick. For some reason it's doing the whole skeleton. Maybe I have to be in animate mode. I don't know. I'm going to do a little spot of research and I'll come back and let you guys know. Okay, so I did a bunch of actual research, watched actually 2 full-blown tutorial videos, and came back to the conclusion that I'm actually doing it correctly. It just ain't gonna work. I think the reason is because I should be able to set the weight of this to be 100, which would block out the animation. I should be able to go to the next root object and set that to 0, but what's happening, this is going to go back to 0 when I do this. See, it's back to 0. And the reason is because I believe that these aren't hubs. Notice these are 0, right? So let's say 100 there. I can still keep that at 0 because this is a hub, right? These are hubs, and so is this and this. But these are not hubs, they're bones, so it's like treating them on equal level. I can't change one for the other. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm talking about. So balls, that's the answer. Balls. Sacks of balls. So I really want to, I mean, I could remake the antenna movement, and I want to keep the head look, but I don't need him bobbing up and down anymore, so we're going to ignore the walk details. Okay, which makes me think I need like just an antenna layer, right? That's probably the safest thing I could turn off and on. Dang, I'm burping. Okay, so we'll just make a new local adjustment. We'll call this antenna wiggle, and we'll go ahead and grab these bones here. Go to local, make sure we're on each center pivot, each pivot, and let's auto key. Oops, I didn't mean to put that there, so we'll move that there, there, and then we rotate that down just a little, right? Okay. Curve editor, edit controller out of range types, loop. Okay. That should continue to loop. We can keep this open for now. We can take these two and shift them. So now it's pushing like that, and then we can take these two and shift them. I'll get everything by 5. And so that should flip-flop them. There we go. There's the antenna wiggle. That's the sniffer. Again, not a lot of motion, just some. Alright, so we have this idle layer. We can do a little more animating. I don't want him to be completely still because that's just boring, so we'll put a very slight bit of movement in him. I think that's probably too little. So he's kind of breathing. I know they don't really breathe, but you know, we're kind of in a video game here, folks. So to counter that profile going up, or is it coming down? Okay, it's coming down. What I'm going to do is counter that just a little bit to maintain that top balance. Okay, and then we can copy this guy over to here, because it auto-created one at 0 for us. So he's looking around, he's not really doing much. I mean, I could have him like do other random idles where he like cleans his face, you know, he could randomly turn in a direction, but for that I'm actually going to have him be more insect-like. I'm actually going to have him start and stop like on a dime, meaning he's kind of like a Tron cycle, like when he turns, well, not like a Tron cycle, but he's going to have very little acceleration. He's going to be, he's just going to take off and stop, and then when he turns it's going to be very skittish. So it's very abrupt movements that he's going to do, but I don't know if I'm going to have him accelerate or not in the game. I really don't know yet, so it kind of depends on this pose. But I think actually that, to be honest, that this is actually enough for an idle to work out just fine. He's just sitting there. It's something to blend in and out of, so I'm going to go ahead and accept it. So what I actually need to do, and I've actually kind of forgotten to do, is even test this. I've gotten so used to everything working all the time that, you know, sometimes I take that for granted. So what I'm going to need to do here is get the skeletal mesh out. I think it's test time because I have idle and I have walk. That's actually enough to get an AI doing something. I have more animations to create, but I'm thinking maybe at this point I just go back and create them as I see a need for them. Probably an alright approach, and we'll just go with this from here. I know I need turn in place, and it'll be very obvious why I need that soon. So what we're going to do is, first off, we want to come out of animation mode. Let's go ahead and unfreeze this guy, and SK mesh, and just as a sanity check, we'll turn the skin modifier off and on and see if there's any shift in anything, because there shouldn't be. Alright, and it doesn't look like it. So we can select that main hub and hit control page down, or with select children active, you can just click and it gets everything. And then we need to add the mesh. Okay, so we can export that, and I'll go ahead and do this. Okay, so I did this export here is a skeletal mesh. Okay, it's just an FBX. That was what I had selected when I exported. Okay, so I don't have any of the little tips, the little IK guys. I don't have the root guy here. Okay, just the skeleton and the mesh. All this other stuff is just helpers. As you can see, none of them are selected. Okay, now I want to get the animations out, so we can go back to animation mode quite simply by doing that. Let's go ahead and ignore the antenna wiggle and the idle. And let's give it a play, and let's see if we messed up any blends. I think that's okay for the walk. What? Hang on, walk details. There we go. And antenna wiggle and idle, those go together, so we'll keep that as is. Alright, so all I need to do is go control page. Son of a bitch. Okay, I'm back and I was able to select everything. I don't know what that was. It was random crash, I guess. So we just have the bones this time, no mesh. I'm going to call this walk forward because he's walking. When this isn't a run or a gallop or anything like that yet. We may or may not do that, may or may not need that. Because I think when he goes faster, if you just speed the animation up, I think it's kind of shitty. Actually, you know what? There is something I want to do. Come here real quick, and I want to put this guy on walk on a line so that he trucks forward, and then I'll just click that. Okay, I have to click off of it first to then click, because if I click on this and then I try to click right now, it just kind of like tells me I want to rename the file. So you have to kind of deselect by clicking either out here or somewhere in this area, and then you can now get the effect of this here. Select children. Okay, so I just need the skeleton for animations. I'm gonna underscore RM that, meaning root motion. Okay, that's good. Just going to select one bone so I can come over here. I am now going to unignore idle. I'm going to ignore walk details and unignore antenna wiggle. There we go, very subtle, slight movement. Okay, let's click off, click on, export. This will be ant idle. Okay. That should be actually, like I said, enough to get us going. I'm going to shift over my own brain right now to some AI, because I think I'm just dying to do it, obviously. And I'll come back and do more animations as I need them, but I haven't put out any of these videos in this series. If you've watched them all to this point, I appreciate that, and hopefully you're learning stuff. If you have questions, obviously, right, just let me know. But I haven't put any of them out yet, so I can kind of switch the order. So I'm thinking of doing the whole series and then doing an actual intro to it where I take bits of each of the videos and kind of punch it all together, going super fast with some music or something, and say, hey, if you want to see this, give it a like. You know, one of those tricks. Not that I'm pushing that channel much. It doesn't make me money or anything like that. It's too small. But I think I'm ready for AI. I think I'm ready to get this guy in. So in the next video we're going to do the import test. I just exported them, right? Again, so for the main, when I do the export, I want to be in this mode here, so I get a skeletal mesh and it's T-pose essentially. I like to do that, even though I could actually say like put him like right, like in this. I could export the skeletal mesh like this. So and sometimes it's actually wise to do this, and the reason is because every once in a while, this used to happen a lot kind of in UDK for me. That was the other engine I was in. Not so much in UE4, I haven't seen it really all that often, but every once in a while you'll get these weird situations where your character will for one frame of the game hit T-pose and then just snap back to himself. It just flickers into T-pose for a second out of nowhere. It's just between animations, it doesn't know what to do. So what's better, for it to flicker into this pose or this pose, right? So this looks like a goddamn street sign. You know, it's very, it's, you know, this looks like a hieroglyphic. This will stand out as straight lines in a natural world of no straight lines, right? So it'll slap you right in the face as soon as the instant that it happens. But if all of a sudden he kind of glitches into this pose for a second, and he's actually going from, you know, like that pose or something, like it's not that huge of a change. Of course, I got the root motion moving him forward. You have to ignore that. But anyways, yeah, the Sipon sign off. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys found this one interesting. It was a fight, and I'm frustrated with this one. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to be able to put a blocking layer on here and blend out everything except these. That should have worked, but because these aren't hubs, apparently they don't count. I can't give them separate local weights. I don't know why. So when I change one, it changes the other, and there's nothing I can do about it. That's not the case for those that are actual limbs or hubs for new branches. But I thought the head was a hub, and anything branched off of it was part of it. But I'm wrong, because it didn't work. So maybe somebody knows. If you do, put it in the comments. I always appreciate it. If I don't say thank you, it doesn't mean I don't mean thank you. You know, I'm just rushing through everything. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.